Hello, Leos, my loves. My goodness. Spirit is here for your reading for the week of June 30th, or whenever this resonates with you. And of course, it won't be for every Leo. So, Leos, the feeling that I'm getting with Spirit is that it's almost like they just want to pick you up like this and say, there, Leo. And like pet you like a gentle cat, pet you gently and just, oh yeah, cat, right, of course. And just pet you gently and calm you and soothe you. But also, more than that, is that it's like they would like to sit down and have a talk with you and say, okay, Leo, now, would you please listen to us because we want to tell you something really important. The image that I had of you is, as I was imagining doing the Leo reading, the image that they gave me was you on a surfboard. You not really comfortably on a surfboard, not really enjoying riding the wave, and the wave actually wasn't that big. It was almost just the anticipation of it being big that was really stressful. And it's like you're on this board and you're trying to hang on for dear life with your toes, but your feet are cramping and you're crouched quite down. And what you don't seem to realize is that the water is not actually that deep. What you don't notice is that there are all sorts of things that could help you if you fall off the board, so you don't have to hang on so tight. That sometimes falling off the board is actually the easiest way to deal with a problematic wave. But what I'm seeing is, okay, there's a towboat there, there's a dolphin there. Oh, and when I look up, there's a helicopter that has a handle hanging down. So if you want, you can just grab onto that. It's literally like whatever situation it is that you are struggling with, the feeling that I'm getting is lighten up. That sounds so simple and almost insulting, but they don't mean it that way. That's my interpretation of this feeling, which is you can afford to let go. You can afford to soften your hold on whatever it is. Now, what's interesting also in this is that a lot of times in order to let go of the situation, it's not just you, Leo, it's all of us, is that we have to let go of the parts of our personality that are attached to that situation. We have to let go of those parts of our personality that are causing us to hang on for dear life even when we don't need to. And it's really difficult for people who are very strongly anchored to the personality structure that they have come to know. And it's very true. Leos have very, very strongly developed and defined personality structures, behaviors, beliefs, values from which they operate. And sometimes it can be really great. It can make you extremely powerful and able to do a lot of things. But it can also be the thing that can hold you back from making changes that actually are better for you, because the better for you is the you taking care of you. It's not unheard of for many fire signs to say, well, that's just who I am. Well, yeah, that's just who you are now, but if you choose to be different, you can choose to be different. We got to remember, Leo, it all starts with a choice. And what I'm feeling with you is that sometimes there is a quality of not hopelessness, but the expectation that things will always be the same. Or the expectation, thank you very much, the expectation that you need to be the same in order for life to go on in a good way. When in fact, a lot of times what it needs for you to be able to let go of this belief and this idea that if you change, things will fall apart. If you let go of your worry, your anxiety, your overgiving, things will fall apart. Well, you know what? They might. They might fall apart, but for the good reason. But if you find yourself coming to this place where you really know you're not happy with a situation, whether it's a specific situation or whether or not it's looking back at a way of living life, you're being asked to look at it and say, what are the voices in your head? What are the faces that come up when you think of expanding or changing and becoming different that say no to you? Where does that come from? Where does that sense of limited self-perception come from? And can you change it? Are you willing to change it? Now, what Spirit is reminding me, or reminding you, is that we are all creative beings. And creativity is something that is not just about making works of art or music. It's about the choices that we make. Every choice we make creates our life. Every choice we make creates our sense of self-perception. And that sense of self-perception and that ego structure is how we're going to relate to the world. And that's going to determine what we get back from it. You're being asked not only to look at what those voices are that have held you back from feeling like you can change who you are, that you can recreate yourself or recreate parts of yourself that are maybe not serving you as well as they would have liked, but you're being asked to also take on the idea of check in with, yes, you can, do you want to, for every single situation. Yes, you can, but do you want to? Does that light, can you get into a light feeling, a bubbly feeling, a delighted feeling, even just a good or neutral feeling? And when you check in and have an option, yes, I can, but do I want to? Does it cramp that feeling? Does it make it bigger? Does it make it better? And really check in with that. You're also being asked to remember that, oh, look, and there you go, risk success. You're also being asked to please remember that you have a whole bunch of wonderful qualities that you may not be expressing. Some of them you may not even know are there. But if you can lead with that in any given situation, and when I say lead with that, from a really, practical point of view, can you allow all of those great qualities that maybe are not feeling like they're super active in your world, and the qualities that you're not already living? So for example, you might be a great caretaker. Well, you're already living that, right? But what about the fact that you love music? What about the fact that you like to sing? What about the fact that you are a brilliant gardener? What about the fact that you have a creative imagination and you can write books or poems? What about the fact that you can sketch and paint? These are all things that have a positive energy to them. And they're all things that are coming out of your being. So allow yourself to remember those things that create that sense of expanded energy around you and that bubbly quality. And then check your choices against what enhances that and what diminishes that, and do your very best to choose the things that expand that feeling. Watch your language also, Leo. Watch your language. Watch for using words that are negative, that are labeling you or anyone else as negative, but especially about you, because this is about you being willing to change, being able to change and finding the way through that sense of restricted expansion, which comes from the need to be safe, okay? It does for all of us, whether we identify change as fearful or not. There's ultimately a payoff in staying the way we are, even if it's difficult, and that's safety, okay? The devil you know, right, is better than the one you don't. That's an old saying. So what you're being asked to do, Leo, is notice words that limit you, limiting language, can't, shouldn't, impossible, try, doubt, difficult, all these different things, and anything that labels you in any way that limits you. Calling yourself lazy, calling yourself stupid, calling yourself stuck even, okay? These are words that have an energy. Words are so, so powerful. And if you can change the words, I'm going to put this up, do a word fast. if you can do a word fast for even just a couple of hours and use that as your model for the word fast, you're going to notice where you've got your mind going in directions that are not helpful for you. And it really helps shift the manner in which you think, the format of how you think. Because when you restrict yourself from using those words, you can't fall into the same habitual thought patterns. It bumps you out of them. And that's really, really beneficial if you wish to change. Okay? I don't want to hear I can't. You can't. You can choose not to. But isn't that so much better? Doesn't that give you much more of a sense of power, even in any situation that you're in, than the idea that you can't? Well, no, you can. And maybe you don't want to for a very good reason. But then make that your choice, not a default, I can't. Okay? That's it, Leos. Take care.